Graders. Today we are making breakfast burritos. Here I have my recipe and my ingredients. So we have eggs, we have bell peppers, we have an onion, we have some tortillas, and you will either need a potato or frozen hash browns, and I will explain that when we get to it. It's in your ingredients. You can do either. And I also have you could use sausage, I am using turkey chorizo sausage because that's what my family prefers. You could use regular sausage, turkey sausage. You could use all vegetables and no sausage. That's up to you, okay? But this is what we are going to use today. So let's first brown our meat. Now, before we brown our meat, we want to heat up our pan to about medium-high heat. Your recipe calls for a half a package, so I cut my package in half, and then I'm just going to squeeze this into the pan, okay? I'm actually making a double batch, so I am going to use both halves of my package. So here comes the other one. Again, if you stick with the original recipe that I'm giving you, you only need half of the package. And then we are going to take a wooden spoon or spatula or something, and we need to break this up into smaller pieces and it's going to start cooking. And we want to cook whenever you cook. Sorry, I'm trying to cook and film at the same time. Whenever you cook a ground meat, we need to cook this until it's completely browned and there is no pink left. Okay, that's what we are aiming for. And then I will also show you how to drain off any excess grease that is left at the end. So just keep breaking this up into smaller and smaller pieces. And then while this is cooking, I am going to go over and chop my vegetables. Okay, first we are going to chop our bell pepper. Your recipe calls for a red bell pepper, but you can use any color that you have. I had a little bit of red left, and then I have this orange one, so I'm going to use this. Now, remember our method. Slices, sticks, dices. Okay, so I'm going to slice off like this because that leaves our seeds inside the pepper, okay? So I'm going to take off my slices first, and then I am going to cut these into sticks, okay, like so. And then finally we are going to turn them this way and cut into dices. All right, so let's watch that again. We're going to do some more sticks here. Okay, and we will turn those and dice them as well. Now we are going to do our onion. Okay, so remember the things that we talked about on our onion assignment last week. Any of this papery stuff that falls off ahead of time, you can just pull off and get rid of if that's in your way. Now remember, we're going to top it off first. So one slice here and get rid of that top. And then this is the root end. You can either cut straight through that and keep it on there for now, or I like to cut it off just because I don't like that stuff getting into my onion. And then I still have my root here to hold it together. So I believe your recipe calls for half an onion, so we will just start with that. Peel off that outer layer, right? And remember, we're going to try to keep that onion together for as long as possible. So we are going vertical slices down, and I want these to be fairly small, so I'm going to do a lot of little slices close together. And remember, I'm not going all the way through the end of the onion here. That's what's holding it together, okay? Then we're going to go down this direction, all right? And when you get to that last slice or two where it's still held together, you're going to have to turn it and go this way, okay? And it'll still dice up just fine. If any of these are still stuck together, run your knife through them again, and remember your roll chopping method. Keep your tip on the board and rock forward, okay? So now we have our diced onion, and I'm not even crying. Now I'm going to come back over here to my browning meat, which is almost done. Okay, you always want to brown meat on medium-high heat, okay, not super high. but medium-high is good. Now, you will notice that a lot of liquid is coming out of my meat here. If you are using regular pork sausage in particular, you will have a lot of fat to drain out. I'm using turkey sausage, so this is mostly just water and moisture, but we are going to drain it off the same as we would any type of meat, okay, in just a second to help get rid of some of that liquid. Okay, so you see that I have a plate over here lined with paper towels on top. So as soon as my meat is done cooking, I am going to transfer it over to this paper towel lined plate to drain. You can see my meat here is draining on the paper towel, and all those juices are getting absorbed by the paper towel. In my skillet, I have put my onions and bell pepper, and we are just going to saute those up. Now, as these start to get soft, we are going to add in our potato, okay? And like I told you, we can either use a regular potato, we can peel this and shred it with a grater, or we can use frozen hash brown potatoes that are already shredded, and I think that's what I'm going to use today, so I will show you that method. Frozen hash brown potatoes, I'm going to add these towards the end, okay, because they don't need to cook for very long. We basically just want them to thaw and get a little bit brown. So, and if they stick together, just kind of whack them with your spoon. As I said, you could use a regular potato, peel it and grate it. The only reason that I don't like to do that necessarily is a lot of times the potato will react with the metal in the grater and it will turn gray and give it kind of an unappetizing color. But there are ways that you can avoid that. You can try to soak it in some cold water, but it's just kind of a hard thing to avoid sometimes, all right? So we are going to cook this down, but the potato is important because it acts as a binder in your mixture, and so we want some potato in there, all right? So I am going to finish cooking off this mixture and then get it out of this skillet and onto a plate. Okay, now we are going to crack our eggs and mix them up. I already have my eggs in this bowl. I'm going to crack this one, remember, on the countertop, right? And then in, oh, I'm trying to go one-handed. Hopefully I don't get shells in it. Don't do it one-handed, go two-handed. And then, oh, I gotta quick wash my hands. Hold on. Washed, and I am back. Now we are going to add in our milk. Okay, per your directions. We are also going to put in a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we are going to whisk this up with our whisk until it is combined. Be back in a minute. Now we are ready to cook our eggs. I have my egg mixture here. I have some cooking spray. I'm going to spray my pan, and I have my pan heating up. Even though it's a non-stick pan, remember, we're gonna spray it a little bit, okay, because eggs stick, all right? My pan is heating up on about medium heat, okay, and we wanna get that warm before we put the eggs in, but remember, not too hot, okay? Low and slow on eggs, that's important, all right? I'm going to carefully start pouring in my eggs. Remember, even though my pan is warming, I don't want sizzling and bubbling. My pan would be too hot if we got sizzling and bubbling, right? And then we are going to let this sit just until we start to see curds form, particularly around the outside edge of the pan. Let's see how long that takes. Right, so in looking at our pan, you can see that our edges are starting to solidify a little bit, right? So now is when we need to start sheeting like we talked about. So I'm gonna push from the outside of the pan to the inside of the pan, all right? And we wanna catch this before it starts browning on the bottom, okay? But you can still see that my mixture is mostly raw egg, right? It's not sticking to the bottom, and it's definitely far from cooked. So we are gonna cover that entire bottom of the pan, make sure that we release all of the cooked egg from the bottom of the pan into the raw egg, and then we are gonna let it cook a little bit more. Now remember, as this process goes on, it's going to start to cook a little more quickly, right? Be patient at the beginning, okay? But as we do this, it's going to get a little bit closer together. Remember how, sorry, my husband's yelling at the dog. Remember that we're going to keep going from the outside and pulling towards the inside, okay? So we're going to give it some time in between, but as we go along, that time in between is going to get a little bit shorter. All right, so I'm going to give it a few seconds again, and then we're going to go in again. Remember to let it cook in between. Do not stir constantly, otherwise you're going to get those small curd little eggs like we saw, you know, the French or the English style, not the American style. We want our eggs to be nice and fluffy. All right, see how it's starting to cook more, and it's gonna go faster in between, okay? So just give it a few seconds to cook up on the bottom, and then we're gonna go in with our spatula again, all right? And right next to my pan, you see right here, I have all of my cooked sausage and vegetables, and that is ready to go in as well, okay? So you just wanna put that on a plate so you can wash your pan in between. And I'm gonna keep going around with my spatula. Okay, but remember, you want to use that pulling and kind of flipping method so that you don't get those teeny tiny curds. We want them to stay nice and fluffy. Now, I am almost done, even though I have a couple of shiny parts, right? Remember that we want that to be a little bit under because we are still going to add our other ingredients in here at the end. I'm going to put my spatula aside for a second, and we're going to put all of this in. And then we are going to also put in our cheese. All right, I have my cheese already grated here. Should definitely do that in advance, okay? And at this point, I'm gonna turn off my heat so that I don't overcook my eggs, so the burner is off, right? Because remember, that residual heat in that pan is what is going to keep cooking our eggs a little bit, and it's gonna reheat all of these other ingredients so that we can get this all combined together. So I'm going to stir this together and then get ready to assemble, and we'll be back in a second. Now I am going to show you the burrito fold. All right, so these are some flour tortillas that I have warmed up in the microwave. Oh, come on, that does not want to come off. All right, we're going to put a scoop of our egg mixture here on our tortilla. Sorry, warm these up in the microwave in a paper towel because that makes them less likely to rip and easier to handle. Burrito fold. Fold in the sides, flip up this end, pull it and tuck it, and then roll like this. And at this point, your burrito is ready to serve, or you can wrap these up individually in a piece of foil like this and either take it with you if you are going somewhere and you need a portable breakfast, or you can put these in the refrigerator, and once they are chilled down, you can put them in the freezer and have breakfast burritos all the time. I'm gonna do one more, okay, because I forgot to add the hot sauce. My husband likes the green hot sauce.
And put more in it, make it
thank
thicker.
you, husband. Okay, he's filming for you, so I have two hands to do the burrito fold, okay? So he likes the green sauce. You can put salsa in here, you can put sriracha in here, whatever you like. So again, fold, fold, pull, and roll, okay? All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoy these, and good luck with your cooking.